Hey there, students. We are going to study 9.2 today, and we're going to be talking about the mean. And this should be a review for you because I know that you learned it in 5th grade. And the mean is just finding the average. And so we're going to discuss that. If you have not yet watched the video that's titled Mean Median Mode Toads that was found back in 9.1, it's the WOW video. You do need to watch that video before you watch this video. So if you have not yet watched the Toads video, go do it now and then come back to this video. All right, for Bellwork today, I had you pick up this instead of doing the Bellwork in your journal. And we are going to look at some of the things that we've been talking about in the last day or two. So we're going to be looking at number 1 here. I'm going to do this one with you. Number 1 says, give the mean, median, and mode for the following data set. Now, this is going to kind of prepare you for the next couple of days and what we're going to be talking about. And then it wants us to round to the nearest tenth if necessary. And you can also use a calculator on this. So I'm going to highly suggest that you have a calculator as you do this. So if you want to pause right now, get out your calculator, that will be just fine. Okay, so the first thing that I always make sure I do when I come across a set of data, so I make sure that it's in order. So I'm going to rewrite this in order from least to greatest. So I have a 6, no 7s, 2 8s, 2 9s, and a 10. Okay, so now that it's in order, I'm going to skip mean right now. I'm going to go to median. Well, what number is in the middle? Well, if you look right here, there's 1, 2, 3 there, 1, 2, 3 there. This is my middle number. Median means middle. So I'm going to put 8 for that number. Okay, mean. Or let's do mode. What numbers happen the most? Well, if I get rid of my little rectangle here, you can see that we have 2 8s and 2 9s. So there is 2 modes here, 8 and 9. Okay? And to find our mean, this is not that, again, this should be a review. This is what our whole lesson is on today, is we're going to add all of these together and divide by how many there are. So I'm going to go 6 plus 6 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10, and hit enter. And then I'm going to count how many numbers there are here total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to take that 56 that I got from adding them all together, and I'm going to divide it by 7. And I get the mean of 8. Yeah, 8's in there a lot, but that sometimes happens depending on your data and the spread and all that other stuff. Let's go on to number 2 real quick. The dot plot shows the number of hours spent on the internet in 1 week. Use clusters, gaps, and peaks, outliers, and symmetry to describe the shape of the distribution. So I'm going to go through each one of these. First of all, I'm going to go through clusters. Where's all the data clustered at? Well, it's clustered. So I'm going to put clustered 1 through 7. Okay, and maybe that dash right there, I should have done a comma. Okay, so I have a cluster that's in between 1 and 7. No gaps. Gaps. None. Peaks. Yep, we have a peak at 4. Okay, outliers. An outlier, we haven't really talked about it yet. It means if you have a number that's way far away from the original data. So, for example, if I had like 19 way over there, one of them, X on the 19, that would be an outlier because it's all by itself, all far away from the data. But we do not have any outliers. So outliers, none. And then what type of symmetry? Is it skewed left, skewed right, or symmetrical? Well, we can see, because it goes like this, that we have a symmetrical shape. So it's the shape is symmetrical. Okay? So, pretty simple if you understand what a cluster, a gap, and a peak, and an outlier, and symmetry is, then, and that's from yesterday's lesson. So hopefully you remember that, because we're going to see another one of these tomorrow. Let's move on. All right, so here I have some vocabulary, and I really liked this little vocabulary. It's kind of like a cheat sheet. I'm kind of debating on whether I should copy it for you. I may do that. But I want to go through just one of these right now, and then we will talk about the other ones a little bit later on in other lessons. Today's lesson, we're just talking about mean. And a mean is the average of the set of data. And to find the mean, we, number one, add up your numbers. Number two, divide by the number of numbers in the set of data. So you saw that on the Bellwork that we did that. We added the numbers up and then divided by however many numbers were there. We also talked about median and mode in the other, just a minute ago. So you probably have a good idea that the median is the middle and the mode is the most. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the days to come. And also range. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. So again, mean means average, and that's how you find the average. And that's what today's lesson is going to be all about. Okay, so let's take a look at your practice really quick. So it wants us to find the mean of the data. Again, I always am in the habit of putting numbers in order from least to greatest. So I'm just going to do that so it stays a habit. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 5, 5. Now, step one, if you remember, was to add them up. 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5. And I hit enter and I get 16. And then I'm going to divide by 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to divide by 4 here. And 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 is my mean, or average. Okay, let's try another one of those. So I'm going to move this up a little bit. A magazine subscription sold this week. So I just know that I've got to put numbers in order from least to greatest, at least for my sanity, because there's going to be sets of data that you run into later on that we're going to ask you to find the mean, the median, the mode, the range, and some other things. So you may as well get in the habit of doing it. So I am going to put these in order from least to greatest. I have a 3. Then it looks like I have 2 6s. And 2 7s. Oh, whoops. A 9 and an 11. Okay, first step, add them up. 3 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11. And we get 49. And then we're going to divide by 1, 2, well, I'll count them so you can see them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 49 divided by 7. I know my multiplication table, so I know 49 divided by 7 is 7. So 7 is my mean. Okay, that is the average. Okay, number 3, can we do it when we're looking at dot plots? Let's see. So books brought home. So Monday, there was 1. Well, let's do it this way. I'm second guessing myself. 1, 3, 4, 4, 1. So I'm going to put them in order. 1, 1, 3, 4, 4, like that. And those commas are important because what if I left that comma out? It looks like a 44. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have your commas in the right place or you can get confused. So let's add them up. 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4. I get 13. And it looks like I'm going to divide that by 5. So we're going to go 13 divided by 5. And we get 2.6. And that sometimes happens when you're dealing with this, is you get a decimal. So we have a 2.6 or 2 and 6/10. So it's like in between 2 and 3. So if we were going to put that in our data to show where it was, it would be about right there. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to number 4 now. Number 4, the table shows the number of points scored by your team in each quarter of a football game. What is the mean number of points scored in the quarter? So we want to, a lot of people look at this and go, oh no, is it 1, 2, 3, 4? And they add all of this together. No, we are only concerned with the mean number of points. So we care only about the points for the mean. So we're going to go 0, 3, 10, 14. Put them in order. Let's add them. 0 plus 3 plus 10 plus 14, and I get 27. And 27 divided by 4, 27 divided by 4 is 6 and 75 hundredths, or you could round that to 6 and 8 tenths. So that is the average. It's right about there for the average. So you can see average and mean in mode, you're going to see that they all work together as we learn these things. But today we're just practicing finding the average, finding the mean, same thing. And let's move on to your assignment. Okay, so here's your assignment. We're just practicing that same thing. On numbers 1 through 4, we're going to put them in order from least to greatest, add them up. And then on the next one, we have 5 different numbers that we're using. You can see how those work. Number 7, I think you guys can do it. There's 10 problems that you're going to have to just find the average of those, and you can use a calculator. And then we have 10 school days, the numbers of bikes parked at a school bike rack, and it shows your data. What is the mean? And then the outliers. Again, remember, an outlier is numbers that are far away from other numbers. So you're looking for any numbers that are, if you were to put this on a dot plot, what numbers would be far away from the other data? And then the last question there, it says you spend 100 minutes on homework each night from Monday through Friday. You spend 190 minutes of homework on Saturday. What's your mean number of minutes? Now, you have to count this 100 how many times? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's 5 times. And then you have to count that once. And then it's going to find your mean. Okay? All right, guys, if you have questions, concerns, problems that you're struggling with on this, please ask your teacher. We'd be glad to help you.